What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Paul. This is Real Talk with the Leeds Therapy. I do hope you're doing well. Thank you as ever for stopping by. On the screen, you will see all of my socials. If you could give those a follow for me, I'd really appreciate it. Most important with the YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe. The notifications are on. And any comments that you want to make, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. If you want to hype the video, if you could do that for me as well, I'd really appreciate it. Today's video, oh yes, and don't forget, it's podcast, all the apps, it's all on there. Apple, Spotify, Deezer, all of the good ones. So get involved with those as well if you wouldn't mind. So today's video, I don't know if it's going to be hugely long or short, but I just wanted to have a chat with regards to the Salah sort of incident, slash situation. I know I'm a bit late to the party, but I wanted to kind of have a little bit of a thought about it before I comment on it and have a chat. And it's really weird because football is such a weird, unique bubble in terms of the whole world of football itself and the way that it's run and what goes on and how it operates. It's the only place I know of where you can get sacked for not fulfilling your targets and still get paid in your full contract. If that was me, I have a contract, terms of employment, things that I'm supposed to follow. If I'm not following them, there's plans that then need putting in place to see if we can make those a realisation and work through them, and then to start following them. And then if that's not working, you then look at maybe at that point, you know, shaking hands and just going your separate ways. It's such a weird bubble, football, particularly as well with players and contracts and the way that it works and it operates, and just players in particular, and being able to come out and say things and then not expect any repercussions from it at all. I mean, obviously Salah coming out and saying that he was thrown under the bus and doesn't understand why he's not playing. From what I understand so far this season, he's not pulled up any trees, which is why he hasn't been playing as much. I don't know what goes on in training. I don't profess to know what goes on at the Liverpool ground, and I'm not going to speculate on that. But I know from my team, if you're not training to the standards that you need to be training to, you won't be in the squad. Or if you're not performing on the pitch, yes, I know it's Daniel Farke, but eventually it will be changed. So, whilst I do understand his frustrations and his kind of his feelings towards everything and how everything's kind of transpired and gone, etc., so on and so forth, the thing that I find sort of interesting, I was always taught a thing that you praise in public and you chastise in private. And what I don't understand is for him to come out and say the things that he said publicly, I kind of can't help but feel that maybe that was maybe a conversation that needed to be done in private, perhaps. That maybe that was a conversation where you man up and say to the manager, can you and I have a conversation? Can we have a chat? And talk about it, or you go to the leadership team and you have a conversation with the leadership team. I don't know how it works in football, but I'm sort of trying to speculate as to how it goes. But what you often see sometimes with players and the way that they do things is this weird sense of entitlement that they have, where, and again, it's formed from this kind of bubble that they live in. I understand the frustration of not playing, and when you look at the past few seasons for Salah, his numbers are ridiculous. What he's contributed to the team, the way that he's worked, all of that kind of stuff. But bigger picture side of things, I look at that now, and from the outside looking in, and I look at that situation, and I look at his players that he plays with, and how does that make them feel? And it's kind of, it almost creates this scenario or this situation where it needs to be a case of them or us, or you're either in my camp or you're not in my camp kind of thing. And it creates that disharmony. And in the long run, it doesn't benefit anybody overall. The publicly talking about how you feel about a situation, or how you feel about your own personal situation, particularly when it comes to the football side of things, and particularly if you're going to say the things that Salah has said, it can have such a negative effect, or it can create such a rift that doesn't benefit the entire team. And then you end up with a situation where you've got Jamie Carragher coming out and saying what he said, and saying that it's disgusting, and how can you and being quite staunch on it. And I have to say, I agree with Carragher to a degree. That rhymes. I agree with Carragher to a degree in terms of what he said. That if it's really, really that bad, you've got to have that conversation in private. It needs to be in private. It doesn't need to be coming out in public, because it creates such a disharmony within the club. It creates such a disharmony within the team. And it can come across as very selfish and very self-entitled. And it can come across as, I'm only looking out for me. I'm not looking out for what's best for the team. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of if you're just outside looking in at a situation, that's kind of how it feels. Look, we know it can get messy. We know football players can be really, really bizarre because they don't live in the real world. They don't. They don't have to worry about money. They don't have to worry about bits and pieces. If they're not happy with the contract, they can just engineer and move away and get it sorted out from there. And that tapping up, and you're not supposed to tap up, we all know that goes on. We all know that happens, and that's just the way that it works. I just think that there is, or there could have been, a better way of handling that situation, or a better way of putting that forward. You can't, whilst yes, you are a star, and yes, you are somebody that's very important to the squad, or somebody that's very important to what the team has achieved, you can't come out and be like Salah was, in my opinion. You can't come out to that level, because it turns from people having sympathy for you to people going, you look a little bit self-entitled, mate, and a little bit woe is me, and a little bit is let me just play the smallest violin for you. Because, you know, that whole working class roots to football, people look at that and they kind of go, you're getting paid more a week than I could maybe ever hope to get paid in a lifetime in certain cases. And you're kind of whinging like that a little bit. Maybe it's a case of you need to knuckle down and get on with it. And again, I'm not saying that that is specifically aimed at Salah. What I'm saying is it's just grand kind of picture kind of thing. It just, football is such a weird thing. The money that's involved with football is on another level, and the way that it determines what happens with football clubs is just absolutely ridiculous. I just think from a organisation or an organisational point of view, somebody has cocked up somewhere for it to be able to get to the level that it got to when Liverpool came to Leeds, and for Salah to come out and say what he actually said. Like, I've got sympathy for him because of what he's done for Liverpool in terms of the goals that he scored, the assists that he's done, and his level of consistency over 6-7 years for Liverpool has been almost otherworldly. It's been ridiculous, you know, leading goal scorer, all of that kind of stuff. So I get that you can feel a little bit put out with how things have gone on, but there's a way of handling those situations. And I think sometimes footballers have a bit of a tendency to show a level of immaturity with how that's kind of gone. I mean, you only need to look at the press officer behind him as he was saying what he was saying. The press officer was just kind of going, oh no, I can't believe he's saying this. But like I said, I understand the way that he feels and how he feels about it, but I just think there's better ways of going about it. Like I said, I don't know the full ins and outs, and I don't know whether or not they've had any conversations or anything like that. So I need to make that clear from the jump. But it just kind of feels like it could have been done a little bit better than what it was. Because if I wasn't happy with a certain situation with my workplace, because at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's your workplace, isn't it? If I wasn't happy with a certain situation to do with my workplace, I'd arrange for a meeting with my manager and a sit-down meeting, and we'd have a chat like mature adults. And I just think sometimes, and you've seen it throughout the years recently, there's a level of petulance that comes through. Like Isak with Newcastle and the way that he treated Newcastle because he wanted to move through to Liverpool. particularly with footballers or high-profile footballers, there's this weird level of petulance and kind of immaturity. I don't know. I wanted to have a little chat on it and just kind of brain dump on it. I'm really interested to get your comments on it down below. Let me know what you think. If you've enjoyed this video, please click the like button. If you're new to the channel as well, make sure you subscribe, notifications on, all of that kind of good stuff. I will be coming with a preview video for tomorrow for the Brentford game as well. So as I always say, and apologies, I've got a cold, so I probably sound very, very not very well. I'm very poorly. I have a cold. I'm a bloke. It's man flu. I'm dying essentially inside. Take care of each other. Most importantly, take care of yourself. I'll see you on the next one, guys. Cheers.